All right, you're welcome to Heroic Universal Concept International. This is Joe. Um, in this video, I'm going to edit the website, the front end website created by George. George, pay attention. Actually, there are lots of errors I found out from your code, especially the JavaScript code. I'm part of the HTML code as well. So I want to take my time to point them out. Yeah, you tried as much as you could in the front end parts. You did a good job to a good extent. But please, pay attention. There's this reason why I actually encourage my students to start from start from HTML in my tutorial. Start from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all. I want them to take full stack course instead of taking a back end course or front end course. The reason is this: most times when they tell me that they've gone through HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, eventually when I give them something to do, they will not do it so well, and it will now become tasking to me. But if they had gone through my tutorial from the beginning, most of my students that went through my tutorial from the beginning, they don't have that problem. They created the JavaScript so perfectly. They coded most of the things so well. Okay, but because you didn't pass through the beginner's tutorial, you found it difficult to some extent. But then now we stand there, and it actually caused lots of errors, okay, because there are stuff you're supposed to master at the primary level. You did not master. It is not affecting your performance. But that now we stand. Let's quickly start. Let me begin to show you some of the errors I noticed in the tutorial in your code. Okay, I have this website. This is the one I mended. Okay, if you watch, and if I click here now, you see that it's working, right? All right, it's working perfectly because I've mended the code. I've solved the problem. If I should go to responsive mode, then you see it's working perfectly. But this is your own. This is your own. You see it's nothing is working. Okay, if you go to responsive mode, you also see that nothing is also working. So why is it? There are lots of errors, as a matter of fact. Where am I going to start from? Okay, let me start from HTML code. Let me show you from HTML. All these things are what we are going to change. We are going to mend your tutorial in your case so that everything work out fine. Okay. When you go to HTML here, okay, let me open the other one. I think I'm going to use, let me close up this one. These ones are what the ones I amended. Okay, so let me close everything and open the one we're going to work with. Okay, let me open it. Actually, this is the copy. Good. Now let me open the HTML. Yeah, good. So if you look at this place, you made a mistake here in the caption. Let me search for it. Caption. 1 minute. Let me pause the tutorial to the video to get it. Okay, now look at this caption. You made a huge mistake here. This is supposed to be like this. Supposed to type in class equals to then caption. Okay, so you see it's a huge mistake, very huge one. Okay, so that is one mistake you have to change. So you have to change it in your own. Okay, all this caption mistake. All right. Okay, now this one solved. Okay, the next one is I'm going to go to, okay, then now linking the JavaScript. You linked the JavaScript at the front end, at the home page, which is not bad. you linked the JavaScript here. Let me show you. Let me close this one. This is where you link the JavaScript. It is not bad, but the only thing it will do for you is that the JavaScript will only work at the home page. It will not work in other pages. What do I mean? The JavaScript will only work when you are on the home page. When you go to About Us, it will not work unless you put the JavaScript in all the pages, which is tasking. So what we are going to do is, instead of putting the JavaScript here, you have to cut it from here. Then you open the footer. Remember that the footer affects all pages. Okay, so when you place something in the footer, it is going to reflect in all pages, right? Yeah, so you put it at the footer here. Perfect. This is where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that JavaScript will affect all pages. Anywhere you are in a page, in this page, even if you are in this one, you can see your JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript will work now. Do you get me? It's important. So that one settled. The next one is now let's go to, let me open JavaScript and start showing you the errors you made. Let me open these two JavaScript you have. One more thing I want to say, please, whenever you are going through my tutorial, to make it easy for you, because we are still learning, do not invent your own way of coding. Follow my principle. If I use a particular class, use the name that same class. If I use a particular ID, use that ID. Do exactly what I'm doing. Don't invent your own. If you want to invent your own, you can invent it later. Maybe you can duplicate the original folder, create a copy of the original, then you can practice and add your own invention in your copy. But whenever you are working with my tutorial, do exactly what I'm doing. If you don't do it, at a point, you are going to get confused. Are you getting me? You are going to get confused. Because when the code starts becoming complex, it will become difficult for you. You understand me? Alright, so that said, now let me open this. Alright, so I've opened it. While we are going, maybe you might be hearing some what do you call it? Microphone. The churches. There are churches close to my office, so they are singing. So in case if you are getting that sound, just to manage what we have. Okay, I just want to make this corrections this evening. Okay, so they are singing and everything might affect this video, but it's still fine. Okay. Alright, now that's it. Now the tutorial is open. Now let's take it. The JavaScript is open. Let's take it one after the other. Okay. Number one, go to if. You see where you put if. This is not the kind of if you should put. This is the if. Do you see if? That's the if you should put here. So you type it in small letter if like this. You get me? Okay. So that is one. So you are going to settle all these cases for everything to be fine. Okay. Then okay, I'm going to be making these corrections in the two files because the way I noted them right now, I don't know. Okay. Then the next thing here is this next, supposed not to be next, supposed to be index. Check, always follow my tutorial. Whenever you are having a problem with, you are struggling with, maybe after typing a code and you found out that that code is not working, go through the code you wrote, go through the code line by line, okay, so that you cross check with the video to find out where you're getting it from. So this place is supposed to be index. Okay, very important, index. Okay, so that's settled. Okay, yes. Now the next thing is, let me check again. The index is settled. The next thing is slide. You see this slide? It's supposed to be one I, not double I. Okay, that one settled. Then this one, see here, supposed to be okay, yeah, it's supposed to be okay, no, it's okay. This one's supposed to be previous slide. Now this one will be next slide. You know, this one is actually when the next button is clicked. Like when this button is clicked, let me show you. When this button is clicked, next. This one is previous, okay? But you didn't specify, you just put next, and you just put next slide and the next slide here. This one's supposed to be previous slide. So when the previous slide is clicked, everything, I mean, it will work. You get that? Okay, this for previous slide is selected. Okay, so that is, this one corresponds to previous slide, this one corresponds to next slide. Okay, that one said. Okay, let me mark the corrections I've made so far. Okay, yes. Now the next one here is we're going to go to member class. We're going to go to menu bar class. Sorry, not member. Menu bar JavaScript. Okay, menu bar.js that you used. Okay, all right. Now, always try to understand camel case in JavaScript. Camel case. JavaScript makes use of camel case in most of its methods. There's a mistake here. This I is supposed to be capital. Camel case, the way camel case is when two words are joined together to form a method, the first letter will start with small letter, then the next letter that starts the second word will be capital. It will continue capital. Now this one will also be capital. You see that? Get element, this one should be capital, by be capital, id I should be capital. Do you get that? That is the idea of camel case. Very important. You know one thing with code, any single mistake you make, you see this one, the same thing here. In coding, any single mistake you make will make your code not to work. Do you understand? Okay, then the next thing here is this media item wrapper. That is what's supposed to be here. You put menu item wrapper. That's a mistake, big mistake here. So you see that there are so many mistakes you made. This should be media item wrapper. Do you understand me? Very important. Okay, I think now the last one here is add event listener. You also make the same mistake, the same camel case mistake here. Camel case, see, add event capital, you got it. Then this one listener, this one should be capital too. Listener, then you see you didn't spell this listener well. This R sugar listener. Did you get that? So just know that any single spelling mistake will affect your code. Your code will not work fine. Okay. So then let's go back to HTML. Let me save this one. Let's go back to HTML again. Here this time around I'm going to open let's go to include. So I'm going to open header 1. Okay, that's where you have this. Okay, so come here. Let me check if there are errors here. There's one thing I want you to observe here. When it always try to organize your code, your tags. Well, like this UL started from this line, it will end at the same line. Do you get that? So that's how it's supposed to be. So it will be easier for you to work with. Okay. All right. Okay, now you see you have double space here. Okay, single space. I think that's okay. All right. So I think all the errors are correct it. So once you are able to correct all these mistakes that you made, once you're able to correct all the mistakes that you made, everything will now work fine for you. Okay, there's one more. I mean, there are some more mistakes in CSS which I did not note down. Let me get them out for you. CSS mistakes from here now. Just copy this. Always try to follow my code well. Like I said before, you see this hover, there's supposed to be one space, I mean any space there. Do not invent your own. That's a mistake. Do not invent your own. Always follow my code exactly the way my code. Do it like that. If you invent your own, you might run into trouble. You see this one again, this S. You see. And so always try to follow my code to avoid problem. Let me go through them. I think there's one more I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, not this one. Media menu height. I'm looking for display. There's a place we have this. Okay, this display. Carry this display, put it down here, put it after this one so that it will work fine. Okay, that's by the way. Now, having done this, I think all the necessary corrections have been made and everything is supposed to work fine. Okay, so do all these corrections in your code and test it out. Once you do it properly, everything will work out for you. Okay, one more thing I want to show you here is you see this product. I don't actually want to concentrate so much on the front end tutorial because you actually paid for, you are going for, okay, I actually don't know whether you paid for full course or you are still going for back end. Maybe I will check to find out, but let me just show you this. If you look at these boxes, these items, you see that the boxes are unequal. Okay, so you have to look at the boxes. Maybe you can apply width. It shows that you didn't follow exactly what I did. You made some mistakes somewhere, which I'm not going to begin to research to get. Okay, but just maybe if you add width to this, with all of them, width to this product, okay, all of them will become of equal size. You try that, okay. Then you also have to check mine, you see, but it's okay. I think you tried, you tried your best, and I must applaud your skill. Okay, you tried your best, but just know that subsequent tutorial, do not add your own code. Do it exactly the way I did it. Even if you want to change what I did, duplicate that one you are working with, then you now work in a new folder, in a new file, okay, to avoid so that when you get confused, you come back to the code that contains the original file. Okay, so thank you so much. Alright, so when you are done with all these corrections, the next thing you have to do before checking it is to clear cache. Just clear cache. Make sure you save first, then you clear cache. So you know why you're clearing cache? You're clearing cache so that your browser will load the fresh copy of the documents. Okay, it will load the fresh copy of JavaScript and fresh copy of the CSS, so that it will not use the old copy. Okay, so once it loads the fresh copies, then it will now load the ones you've corrected. Okay, so that is it. Now to clear your cache, you can go to settings, just click on this menu icon, then go to settings, then go to privacy and security, come down here, click on clear data, then clear now, then close it. Okay, then you refresh. Once you refresh, then you can now test your your work. Do you see that? It's working perfectly. Okay, so that is it. It's working fine. Then let's check the responsive mode. Let's see. Let's check it. Do you see that? So it's also working beautifully. So just make all these necessary corrections, okay? Then everything will be fine. Okay, after that, then you can now continue with the rest of the tutorial. Thank you very much.